Row. Row. I see names, but I'm not seeing or hearing people. Hopefully I'm not doing anything wrong.
Jack, talk and see if he can hear you.
Hi, Lon. This is
Hey,
Jack.
I see Rose signed in 2 times here. I hear you, Jack, but I don't see you. So at Marge, I expect that's the 2 of you. I'm not seeing.
Is, except I'm just trying to get him set up, but
I'm worried it's my computer.
hearing is more important, I would guess.
Hearing is more important. You're right. And I'm seeing Ro has dialed in 2 times. And I don't know if I should sign her out. Huh. I was wondering if it's a setup that I did. Oh, darn. Can you see me at all?
Yes,
Yes.
looking dapper as always.
Yeah, I don't see you at all, but that could be my network. I'm worried my network's a little slow. So how are you guys doing? How did you survive the storm?
We did very well. We got, maybe between the 2 storms, Western New York got 75 inches in the first one and 5 feet in the second one. And we got more snow in the 2 snowstorms than we did all last year.
Wow. Now, do you have
But we still did great.
Yeah.
You said, how did you do? And he didn't quite answer the question.
We did fine. We couldn't see out the screens for the second one because of the snow. The high winds just filled up the window screens. But, we had enough food and
Good.
never lost power.
Oh, speaking of, sorry, I'm clicking around and I clicked on share screen sharing and it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh, well, that could be a problem. How do I change that? Hold on.
I don't know. On the bottom of our computer, there's mute, stop video, participants chat, and then there's a button that says share screen.
All right. Well, I just hit people can share it simultaneously. I'm still not seeing everything. I do this so seldom that I worry that I'm not seeing anybody's audio. I wonder if I should sign off. I may sign out and come back in. Oh, there's Janet. At least I've got a person I see.
Hello there.
So Janet's on board. Hey, Jack and Marge. Oh, I've got Kathy coming in. So, hi, Janet. How are you?
Good. Alan's here.
Hey, Alan. I see Alan in the background there.
Yep. He's lounging on the love seat.
Perfect. And I see Kathy. So the only one. Hi, Kathy. How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
I'm great. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
I I suspect we'll have, Lisa and Marcia join in shortly. Rose struggling. Marge and Jack are out there, but they show up as a black screen right now. So they can see us, but we can't see them. So,
Okay.
and here's my guest.
Hi,
Hi, Becky.
Hello.
So we got a couple new members that are joining us tonight, and we've had a lot of discussions in the background about a variety of things, including our evening programs, our walks, our registration fees, our barbecue. So as much as I always like to say, I'd like to just swim through this quickly in an hour. That never happened.
It's never happened.
But luckily, I mean, we've got Lisa's been very actively involved. Rose been tracking down everybody. So I think we're in pretty good shape. We just need to make sure. I'm going to pull up the chronology in a little bit. I just want to make sure that we've got everything that we're supposed to have done that we're doing. So,
Lon, I have a question, as long as we're a little early here, about the dormitories, and we only have them for Friday and Saturday night, right?
correct. But we can get in as early as 10 o'clock on Friday morning.
So how did that work for last year? I went in a cabin with a friend and we had the cabin the whole week.
Whoops.
So
Yikes. Oops. I think I've got an issue here. Hang on a second.
okay.
I've so right now, I think that Marge is now sharing her screen, and I made a yikes. Oh boy.
Well, let me go out of it.
Yeah, if you go out of that, looks like you're somehow I made it so you could share the screen. Hold on. What do I do? Somehow I've made it so Marge is sharing the screen. We're seeing Marge's screen right now. I wish I did this more often. I could cut her off.
Hey.
Sorry, Marge.
That's okay. Okay, I'm gonna go out of it
Yeah.
and let you reset.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, wait, there's a stop share. Let's see if that does it.
All right.
Okay. Hey,
Somehow I still see your screen here. Hey,
Okay.
Rob Reeves, he's on board. Help us, Mr. Wizard.
Wow.
All right, there we go. So now hopefully everybody can see everybody except for Marge. I think Marge and Jack dropped off. They're going to be coming back in.
Okay.
Rob Reeves is jockeying multiple volunteer jobs at the same time. So hopefully he's there. We see him. He's probably on 3 conference calls all at the same time. So.
Yikes.
Hey, Marcia.
Hello,
Happy New Year.
thank you. Same to all of you. Whew.
So, Lon, so what I wanted to ask was that, last year I was there for the whole week.
Yes.
So it didn't matter, but I did miss kind of being close, like in the dorm, and missed
Right.
having that food on site like that. But if I can't get in until Friday morning, I mean, usually I'm there and setting up. What did people do? Just come in and, how did people do anything then Thursday? You can't really get there
So
in time to set up. That's what I was
yeah.
saying.
So last year, so on Thursday, we actually have access to what they call the classroom, which is the main building that we have the registration in. As far as folks that are, we can't get into the dorm, so no one can stay until Friday morning at 10 o'clock. So we have the dorm
Right.
Friday from 10 till 3. They had previously charged us for an early arrival and a late departure, but they've done away with that, and it's just now a single fee. So, but
That's good. I'm just used to getting in Thursday and, I thought if I don't get in until Friday, I usually do a lot with setting up, helping with the coffee and all. Getting in Friday is kind of last minute, especially because we have a long drive.
I I have a cabin on Bova and I have it for the week ahead, and there's like 2 couches that open into beds. I mean, you could bunk there for one night
Okay, that's
if
maybe,
you want it. Rob Thompson did that last year too, because he couldn't get into the dorm until Friday, and so he just bunked on one of the couches. And the way we did it was just we just people paid for whatever toward the night that they were there. That's all. We just
Uh-huh.
divided it by how many people were there that night. So if 10 people are there, it'll be really cheap.
right, I
I'm
wondered
kidding.
what everybody did who was planning to stay in the dorm. What do they do Thursday night? And what time do we have to get out then on Sunday?
Sunday we had late, didn't we?
Yeah, it's a 3:00 departure on Sunday.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah.
So, we had, in fact, this is one of the comments that, or one of the things I need to address is we have one of the leaders, Steve Daniel, who seems to impact him because I'm not sure why, but he is impacted by the fact that he can't get it on Thursday night. The issue is it's an additional $1,000+ for another night. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Ask him to
probably
pay
because he has a
$1,000.
program.
well,
I was thinking maybe because he has a program on Friday. He usually has the first program Friday. Maybe he always goes in Thursday night because I always see him Thursday night in the dorm.
yeah, I think with Steve, yes, he's there Thursday with family and extended family members. And yeah, he does start on Friday afternoon, but again, the programs are at 1:00. I'm not sure how that really impacts him, but
What did he do last year?
I think he comes in from the Adirondacks. I think that's the problem.
Steve Daniel, I think lives, I thought he lived in the Rochester area, so.
Yeah, but he summers. He
Oh.
summers in the Adirondacks somewhere.
Right. Yeah. If he's driving all the way down from the Adirondacks,
That could be
yeah,
it.
he would have to come Thursday.
Well,
Okay.
really,
Yeah. I
people-
just wanted to know what other people, were doing who were coming in, who normally come in Thursday, who don't have a place to stay. So we didn't get a cabin this year for the whole week. We may still, but we'll see. But anyway, I just wanted to find out more information about that.
yeah, there are cabins that are, I just checked a couple days ago, there's still a number of cabins. I think we probably have, let's see. We have Janet and Alan, we have Jim, and we have Ro's trying to connect. So that's everybody from
Yeah,
Jamestown.
I'm on the phone.
Oh, hi.
I'm on the phone.
Hi, you're on the
I'm
phone.
not- I don't think I'm gonna be able to get on. I can't figure out what, it looks like I should be in there and it's not, so.
Okay,
I'm on the phone.
okay. You're on the phone. We can make funny faces at you and you can't see us, so.
I could do
But-
the same, yeah.
And then Lisa has indicated that she's going to be running a little bit late. I said that we put off the hospitality discussion until she can join us. From Rochester, I think we've got Frank. We have Kathy. Ellen Prill is in Jamaica and gave me some lame excuse that said that she couldn't join us, even though she's in Jamaica. And then we have a new member who I'd like to welcome. Laura Dustin is here. Hi, Laura. And I would say she's not a new member. She's a retread, right?
Retread. I like that. Ow. Yeah, I like that.
Or I should say rebound. How about a rebound instead of
Well, I like
retread?
retread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laura had been on the committee. Laura's been a leader for a number of years. I've known Laura since, I hate to say, probably the 1980s. So.
I'm not sure, but I started in 1976.
Okay. So yeah, even go before that. I was throwing 1980s out just to be on the good side. So
First leader trip was 1976.
and then we have from Buffalo, I think we've got Jamestown, we've got Erie. Lisa's going to be joining us shortly. And then from Buffalo, we have Peter, we have Rob Reeves, we have Marcia, and we have Jack Skinner, and we have a new member, Tom Kerr. And I see Tom's got on mute over there. Hi, Tom. Tom is a professional
Hello.
with Buffalo Audubon Society, and welcome aboard. Really appreciate your time. He's already provided some input. We've been talking about some potential evening speakers, and Tom's on board. He's been a long time leader, and his family's attended for a number of years. So welcome aboard, Tom. So Tom and Laura, thank you very much for joining. I'm not sure you know what you got into, but now that you're in, well, Laura already knows. she's even in spite of it, she decided to rejoin the committee. So, but I'd like to welcome everybody. Frank, we have the, I was going to say that, I don't know if I missed it. We got Rose also there somewhere. I see her signed on twice and a phone call. So, and then we have Andy. Andy, thanks for joining us, our park liaison. So,
text me if you need me.
Andy, thank you very much as well for joining us. So let's get going. I'm going to, everybody's got the minutes that were sent out and the, as well as the agenda for tonight's meeting. As I say, I always have the best intentions. First of all, happy New Year to everybody. I was going to say happy birthday. Happy New Year to everybody. And looking forward to getting this thing kicked off. Hoping to open up registration this week as well. So that's kind of the objective of the meeting. And then just want to walk through the various directors as we talk about a status update on each. So let's start by reviewing and looking at the minutes from the last meeting. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Right. I'll ask another question. Does anybody have any objections to the minutes?
I've got a little retooling in a couple areas that I'm not sure it's totally accurate, and I don't know if it makes a difference. But talks about long lines at hot dog lunch. I believe that the long lines were the barbecue and not the hot dog lunch. That wasn't an issue. That was number H.
Oh.
Right, that was just a whoops, yeah.
Number.
Okay.
I thought the hot dog sale went really well, actually. That was pretty, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's just a confusion between the two. The hot dog sale had no problems.
Okay. Frank, can we make that change the last minutes?
Yes, whatever amendments we'll talk about here, I'll certainly reissue that.
Okay. Ro, any other comments?
And then when we were talking about, well, actually it's actually the hot dog is C, H is the other, is the surveys in terms of the lines and such. The line was not split on the barbecue. They picked up their barbecue and walked to another station. So there were not two separate lines that people got into. They circled through. So it's just a tiny discrepancy in how it's worded. That's all.
I think the key thing, and I appreciate that, Ro. I think the key thing is when we get Lisa on the phone, go through her conversations that she's had with the barbecue folks, and we'll be talking a little bit about that when we get down to the hospitality component for going forward.
Yeah, no, my comment is in relation to what actually happened, not what we hope to happen this year.
Right, that's fine. Okay. All right. So do we have a movement to accept the minutes? Marcia, always help me with this. Do we move the minutes and then the treasury report? What do we do here?
Yeah, you do them separately.
Okay, thank you. A motion to accept the minutes with.
By the way, is amended, if you would, Lon.
Okay.
As amended, yeah.
Second.
A second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Aye.
Okay, great. Any folks contrary to that? No? Good. All right, let's move ahead. I do want to talk about the bylaws, although let's do the treasury report, then I'll get back to the bylaws. The amendment to the bylaws is proposed last time. So treasury report, Peter. I think we've got all that. Things look great, in my opinion. Of course, what does my opinion count? Looking for your opinion.
Well, we want everyone to be happy, right? Yeah, hopefully everyone was able to receive and have a look at the treasurer's report. Certainly, if anyone has any trouble printing them out, they're all in PDF format, so I know that sometimes people have trouble with that, but we are in good shape, of course. There are only a couple of transactions since our last meeting, one of which was we received our check for the online T-shirt sales, so that added to our revenues. And then
How much was that, Peter? How much was that?
$537.
Okay.
And some cents. Yeah. And then we had a couple of checks that were sent out of small amounts that you can see on the treasurer's report. But we finished up the year with a balance in our checking of $20,440.09. So overall, we wound up being a little above what we wound up our last pilgrimage with. So
good, which I think will provide enough padding. I mean, we certainly have enough padding as we talk about the registration costs, et cetera. We go a little bit further. I think we're in good shape. I don't think there's any fear for blowing through $20,000 this year. So.
Correct, particularly with the tent speakers that you've lined up. So that shouldn't be a monumental cost. Sometimes speakers are some of our bigger costs. So
yeah, and I think that Roe has negotiated rates that are. I think the total still even be less than it was the last couple of years. So good.
Yeah, so that's well under control. And as far as the Camp Allegheny goes, I guess this year it's going to run about I think $2,750 for the classroom, the rec room, the dining hall, for those things. So I think we're all set on that. That's a little more than we paid last time because we already had paid $500 for the canceled pilgrimage in 2020. So that was knocked off the price. So.
Right. So I think that the fee's still the same. Well, I've got you on. Okay. So motion to accept the treasurer's report. Looks like Andy's making a movement there.
I'll second.
All right. To append the treasury report to the minutes, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those against? All right, none. All right. A couple comments from the chairman now, which is as we're walking down through the agenda. One thing, I think we're in pretty good shape. We've been having sidebar conversations with Lisa regarding hospitality, Marcia regarding all aspects, I think, well, Lisa, Roe as well, Peter. We've had some comments and working through some issues about registration costs, about barbecue costs and how to approach that. A couple of things I'd like to do is for everybody that's on the phone here today, we have individual committees. What I'd like to do is encourage folks to reach out to the committee chairs, subcommittee chairs, that being Lisa Danko regarding hospitality, Marcia regarding registration, Roe regarding leaders, and offering your assistance to those individual people. And I'd really like to delegate to these folks to make decisions I shouldn't say autonomously, but make the decisions amongst their committee, their subcommittee, and propose those to move forward, as opposed to having, lengthy meetings about, is the barbecue going to be $12, $13, one line, two lines, one cookie, three cookies, sodas, et cetera. I'd really like Lisa to make those decisions regarding hospitality on her own. She's responsible for that. So we'll have some discussion when it gets down to that, but ultimately her decisions regarding hospitality are her decisions as the director of hospitality. And the same goes for Roe and Marcia as well regarding registration. What I didn't do is encourage everybody to say, look, I'd like to lend myself either that weekend or leading up to that to help these folks. I think that, and I'd like to understand who's reaching out to these folks and how they can help as well going forward. I think Lisa, Lisa's got a big set of tasks associated with barbecue and hot dog sales and porta potties and the cook and everything else. So I think anything that she could take, but ultimately the decisions are going to reside with her. So, and same with Roe. So those are my comments kind of going forward. I'd like to go into kind of transition right now into a change that was proposed last time in the bylaws. And that was to move the fiscal year, I'm looking at, I got to remember, it was from July 31st to August 31st. And the bylaws request that it be put in writing 4 weeks prior to the meeting. And I think, actually move it from the fiscal year to September 1st to August 31st. And the requirement, the bylaws is to be submitted via writing. The minutes support that were given last time. The proposal was brought up last time. And I'd like to go ahead and have a vote on amendment to the bylaws, moving it from a July 31st fiscal year end to an August 31st fiscal year end. This will be our first amendment to the bylaws since they were done in 2020. So I don't know if anybody has any discussion regarding that, but it was really to facilitate the finances at Peter's request. I don't know, Peter, if you wanted to elaborate on that a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I think it was just it would make it cleaner in my view if we could wrap up all the revenues and expenses by the time we closed our book for a fiscal year. You can see even this year, we had some lagged expenses and revenue check come in after September 1st. So establishing the fiscal year August 31st, I think we can stay on top of it. People will be aware of it, get their expenses in, and we can wrap everything up, I think, neatly by August 31st, generally.
So do we have a motion to modify the bylaws from a July 31st to an August 31st year-end close with a new fiscal year running from September 1st to August 31st? And again, that was submitted via our minutes and discussion in our last committee meeting.
I'll move.
A second?
I will.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think we needed 2/3, and I think we got 2/3. Even though there might be an objection. If anybody objects, just to let us know. Anybody objected that? Okay. The bylaws are hereby amended to have a September 1st to August 31st. And I will make that change in the bylaws and provide that to everybody. Rob Reeves has done a good job of, as always, that the bylaws are actually published on the website as well. So thank you, Rob. Okay.
So speaking of bylaws, we gotta vote in a retail chair.
What is it?
A retail chair. We never did that 2 meetings ago.
That's correct. I've spoken to Barb Conklin, and she's agreed to help out and lead, but not be part of the committee. And I need to review that. But yes, she's agreed to do that. So
well, it's not only is it a director's position, it's an officer position. I mean, you see,
it is an officer.
At some point, you might want to consider making a bylaws change for that. But in the meantime, it seems like it's Roe. I mean, Roe already has been doing work in it.
Yeah. What's your thought, Rob Reeves?
Unfortunately, we don't have a choice. We must appoint or vote in a retail chair, and that person must be an already serving director. So I don't think there's much choice but to give it to someone already here, and you could change it later.
I mean, one of our options is, as you just alluded to, we could make notice now to effectively eliminate that position.
Well, is there a reason we can't leave that vacant for the time being?
We can leave it vacant. And we have to have one. I can nominate one. But I don't believe that the director has to be a member of the committee. It's an
Well-
office, it's an officer's position. I thought I printed off my bylaws.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We have to look at it, but
I
No.
I don't think it should be.
Yeah.
Could you call it a different committee, a different name rather than merchandise chair and just call it a committee and have Barb be at the head of it
Well,
without being a director?
yeah,
I
you know
mean,
what?
at least for this year until we get the bylaws straightened out.
I'm gonna hang on a second here. I'm going to print this off.
Retail sales.
I'm just looking at this right now. Let's see.
Wait, I'm not seeing, as an officer, I am not seeing retail.
We said only directors may hold a position of officer. Does not apply to committee chairs. Okay. No, this does not apply to committee chairs.
So the
Oh,
retail,
but officers, it's not a, officer is not a committee person. Does not have to be a committee person. So Barb can be the committee chair. Or the, I'm sorry, the retail chair. I apologize. I'm going through this right now. How do I lost you all here. Oops.
We're still here.
We still got
Oh,
you.
good. Yeah, so I did a quick review of the bylaws and the,
Does Barb want to be committee chair? Sound like she's trying to help, but didn't sound like she's trying to be committee chair.
what's that? I'm sorry.
Does Barb want to be the committee chair? It sounded like she was willing to help, but not chair.
Yeah, I think in talking to her, she was fine with the title. She just didn't want to sit through these committee meetings.
Okay.
So let me reach out to her again. I'm officially nominating Barb Conklin as the chairman of retail. And I need to follow up.
Is that going to be the same like last year where you order online ahead of time?
Yeah, and this is a case where Ro has completely set everything up. We actually have the link and we actually have the designs already. So it's the retail chair position really has been, I don't want to say diminished, but has been diminished because outside of the fact that we've got some mugs that I think are still left over, we got rid of all of our T-shirts and all of our excess last year, right, Jim? Jim Backless out there? He's on mute. Jim he was there for most of it. We got rid of all the retail stuff and then had our T-shirt sales and hoodies were all done online with no interaction. In the sense that everything was ordered online and then they just picked stuff up. Jim's giving me the thumbs up.
That's correct.
So I think we might want to review in light of the fact that that position, the responsibility is diminished. We might have looked at, but in the meantime, I've nominated Barb Conklin and I'll make sure that she retains that role and et cetera. So.
can I just, back in general to the bylaws?
Yeah.
Usually what happens in the bylaws when you have section 9 committee chairs, usually have a statement under there where that committee chair, if they need to be a member or something like that. So when you have these registration committee chairs, the retails committee chairs, you have their responsibilities under there, but you don't say anything about membership.
Right. That's later. That's
you want to do that.
Yeah. So earlier, and actually, Laura, you and I can take this offline. What it is that there's a role where it says there are officers and there's committee chairs, subcommittee chairs. And the committee chair does not need to be a member of the committee.
I'm just saying, I think you might want to have a statement there because it may be confusing.
Okay. Yeah.
We can talk about this later. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we talk about that offline? And then if necessary, we'll do an amendment through writing to be addressed at the next committee meeting.
So, yeah, and you might want to just consider a name change, not necessarily a description, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right, I was going to bring up the chronology of events just to make sure we're on track with those things. And then we'll get down to, I'm going to share my screen here. Hold on a second. Share screen. I want to make sure I can actually read stuff here. Here it is, the chronology. All right, can people see this chronology?
Yes.
All right,
All
so,
those people who are not on the phone can see it.
right. So Ro, what it says in the chronology is that Ro will be responsible for everything. No, I'm just kidding. That's a
Very
joke.
good. Very good. Thank you. Finally.
Let me just review these. This is not to be discussed other than let me just tell you where we should be. And I think we're in good shape. November, December, contact hotels, secure room rates, done. Executes commercial activity permit application. Peter, we're going to have to probably work on that. Contract for tents. Peter's in the midst of that. Hospitality, call vendors to obtain pricing. We're all set for that. Retail sales, evaluate merchandise inventory, order if necessary. Not so much pertinent anymore. December, submit links for retail to the web and registrar, which we've done. Registrar, confirm fees for current Allegheny, send a media chair. So we're going to confirm that this evening. Let's see, open online registration. That's what we're going to do. Send email blast. We're going to do that. Let's see, send blast email. Okay, we're going to do that. Blah, blah, blah. Hospitality secures court for the weekend. That's done. Media web, post social media promotions to encourage registration. That's going to be me. And plan second meeting. So we're on board with all that. Things that we just have to get ready to do is our insurance. Camp Allegheny is reserved. That's already done. Arrange tent setup. I think we're in good shape for all this. So I'm going
to back
Go
you
ahead.
up on, I've requested the insurance, and ACNC is in the process of getting that.
Excellent. Good. And then Peter, let me close it. Okay. Peter, as far as I got the contact from, I'm drawing a blank. What's his name at
Tim O'Keefe.
Tim? Yeah, thank you. Ooh, that brain stuff. Yeah. So I've got the permits from him as well as the pricing. I'll just forward that to you. I think we're in good shape. So
Great.
why don't we move down to the committee updates, which kind of blends right into this. Peter, you gave me an update on the price of the tents. I think there's a $180 increase over previous years.
Yep.
So, and we have a contract with them. We're all set.
Good to go.
Permits. I think we got the insurance and the other permit stuff. I don't know if you want to reach out to Tim on the other permits.
I will. I think, Andy, were you going to talk to Tim a little about the permits? Can't remember what our issue was last year.
Yeah, I don't quite recall exactly.
Yeah, I'll get a hold of you and we can work through that. But if there is anything, it might be in my imagination.
There was something about porta potties. I don't know if that's related to this or not. I talked to him on that and he didn't seem to be aware. I don't know if that was it or not.
I think I'm just looking at the minutes from last time. Andy will check and help sort out the correct paperwork. That's all it says.
Oh, because Tim didn't get involved and that's.
Oh, right.
lost
Oh,
that.
yeah. We wanted to make sure that Tim was copied and involved. Yeah.
Part with April, I see it says insure permits, and I'll definitely help with that this year. It goes through my department, just making sure the insurance certificates are worded properly and all that. That's not a problem.
And there was a woman we were supposed to copy and I forgot what, or was it just Tim was good?
Glenda, maybe my supervisor, she just files them too. But I work with her every day almost.
Okay, good. Okay. We just make sure Tim's copied on everything.
Yep.
Okay, Cool. Now, one thing that's kind of open, and I'm going to put this under tents. One of the issues we had last year was lighting. We paid $200 and some for renting those lights. We'll call them lights. They don't think they qualified as lights. So,
Fireflies.
yeah, poor. And we're definitely going to need more lighting. So Lisa jumped on this, and I'm going to share my screen. She came up with some ideas for lighting and like some input. And so a couple of the options are we can rent them. Not sure where we're going to rent them. There'd probably be at least $250 to rent them. The other thing is we can buy them. We can probably buy some good lights for $200 and some, but then we're responsible for installing and storing. That's the positive and the negative. So let me just show you what Lisa sent to me. And hang on a second here. Here it is right here. All right. So there's a couple. Let's see what it is here. Hold on. Where is slideshow? All right. I don't know if you can see this here. So here's some pretty bright lights. This is on a tripod. These are just a couple different options. We can get tripod, we can attach them to a pole, or we can do the traditional hang them, like hang them here. They're $108. This is just 10. This is 15,000 lumens, which is pretty bright. It's on a 100-foot cord, but again, someone's going to have to climb up and hang these. This is another thing we could just put on the ground and shine up at the ceiling. So we have some options. I don't know if anybody has any strong feelings about it, but we need to address it. And it's kind of a pain in the rear. I don't want to make this a 3-hour conversation, but it'd be nice if anybody has any thoughts or experience with this.
I agree with the tripod lights. There's a lot of ways you can put those up so that the light goes up and reflects out. I just suggest that, maybe we make sure that we have the right Loomis for it. I've seen those used before. I've used them myself actually to work at night doing landscaping, and that worked out really well for me.
Yeah, and the nice thing is we can, if it's on the tripod, the downside of being on the tripod is it's another tripping hazard. But instead of us climbing up and hanging lights, they can be installed and then just pointed up to the ceiling. And for what we paid last year for renting, we could buy almost 3-4 of these sets of lights.
4 at least.
Halogens are cheaper than the LEDs, but the halogens use a lot of electricity, and I don't know how the park facility is if we low the electric box.
I'm not sure I heard that or understood that. Who was speaking? I'm sorry.
It's Lisa. I'm on real good connection.
Oh, okay.
The halogen, we have to decide. The halogen lights are the $35 lights on a tripod. The LEDs cost a little bit more, and they could be a lot more. But the halogens, I'm just worried that we plug in more halogens, we might not be able to remove it. That's what I was worried about.
Well, I caught every third word. And I apologize. Maybe someone else heard better than I, but I unfortunately, Lisa, you were breaking up.
Reflecting back,
Okay.
she's whatever. I don't know what you said. But the thing about what you're showing here is these things are waterproof. And well, yeah, we're in a tent, but
They're relatively cheap too.
yeah, well, they're going to last longer than the halogens. They're waterproof. And when you transport them back and forth, you don't have to worry about I don't know, maybe that's just not a big deal, but I think you got a little bit more going with the LEDs than you do with the halogens.
Tom just wrote on the chat.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? I didn't, let me close this down.
Oh, Tom said the halogens get very hot.
Yes.
Yeah, so these are LEDs and it says it's 5,000 lumen. I don't know if that's 2,500 per light. Again, they're relatively, I mean, compared to what we rented them for, we could buy at least 4 of these or more. Ro, what about storage? You can't see these, Ro, but they're basically some small lights on a tripod.
Okay. Why don't you, after we're done with the meeting, send me a picture?
Okay, yeah, because
And,
Ro
then we can
and
determine,
Jamestown,
you know, how they break down and how much space they would need, you know, whether they come in a box or a bag or
Yeah.
something for storage.
yeah,
Well, the other thing is too, they go to just over 2 feet. They're telescoping that tripod. And that's just over 2 feet that you can send that down to.
yeah, I think they're relatively compact. My own, yeah, it says right here, can be easily adjusted to several different heights extending from 27 inches up to 68 inches. I'll send this to you, Ro. I think it'd be relatively, you know, especially we're thinking about cutting back on some other storage items. This wouldn't take a lot of space. And I think we could order 4, maybe 5 of these to position inside the tent and shine them up towards the ceiling. It's just my sense. I think anything would be better than what we had last year.
And they're not.
Yeah,
too
yeah,
far.
when we're all done here,
Oh,
send
yeah.
it to me and I can take a look and see whether whether it would be a storage problem or not.
Okay. Does anybody have any, I mean, let me just share here. So I think these are LEDs. This is, they're all these are LEDs that Lisa had suggested. So one is it's,
I think we should go with LEDs rather than halogens
Yeah,
because of the heat
yeah.
factor and also the energy factor.
yeah, the energy, and that's the other thing too, is we don't want to blow out the circuit. I don't think any of these draw much, a lot of wattage or amps. In fact, the amps are probably nothing. So I don't think we'd have to be worried. Someone's going to have to be responsible for setting these up, breaking them down, plugging them in, unplugging them when it's time for lights on, lights off. So we're going to have to designate someone who is going to take responsibility for the lighting. And I expect that someone on this committee will stand up and say, yeah, I'll take lighting. So, and I suspect it'll be pretty easy, but it's just getting them set up. All right, I'm going to stop my share.
Lon,
Yes.
you need extension cords too with them.
Right. Yeah. In fact, that's a good point, Jack. I know we've got a few extension cords, but they're worthy of buying some more. And again, it creates an additional tripping hazard if we're running them. Maybe we can run them down just one side, but hopefully we'll make sure when we acquire those lights that we'll also acquire some additional extension cords. And whoever's responsible for setting them up has to be aware of the tripping hazard and maybe comes up with something clever as to how they're set up. Hey, Peter, the tents are set up. It's set up Thursday afternoon, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we could actually test them out. I'll be there.
Yeah,
So
I'll
lights
be there.
and extension cords. So
We have a lot of extension cords.
does anybody have any really strong feelings? We want LED. I'm leaning towards the compact, the fact that they're on a tripod. Does anybody have any strong feelings? Otherwise, we'll just go ahead and make that acquisition. I'll work with Peter and Lisa and anybody else that cares. I mean, again, Lisa, thank you very much for researching this.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. We'll check this out and we'll have this figured out and then by the next meeting. And again, if anybody has any strong feelings, let me know. I'd like to, allocate $250 to $300 in the acquisition of extension cords and lighting, which compares comparably to last year's rental. So unless anybody has any major objections, I don't know if we need a vote on that, but I'd like to go ahead and assume a budget of around $300 total. So.
Yeah,
Janice,
I think that's, we obviously know we need them. And if this looks like it'll be a solution, we tried a solution last year, it didn't work. We're looking at something this year. Hopefully this will work. It's a comparable cost. I don't think we need a vote unless anybody feels that this is not a good solution.
And Lisa just said we have lots of extension cords, which I think we do as well. So I appreciate that. Excellent. So we may be set with extension cords. And as I said, I vaguely remember that we do too. So thank you, Lisa, for that. Really appreciate your stepping up. Ro, I'm going to, if anybody has any other comments about tents, permits, lighting, any other concerns, Peter?
No, I think that's a good way to go.
Good, cool.
As long as we can storm somewhere.
Yeah, and I'll get that information off the row. So I guess Jamestown Community, what is it? Jamestown Community Nature Centers has provided storage for us. So, Ro, you want to give us an update on your leader recruitment, where you might need some help, as well as just give us a quick update on your evening programs. We've got that all nailed down too. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, let's start with evening programs, because that's the easiest. Friday night will be Penn-Dixie Fossil Park. Catherine Kornicki, I'm not sure how she pronounced her last name, but she's their science educator, will do the program, the big tent program at 8 o'clock that night. And we've got the description and everything, and she's going to be talking about fossils at your feet, which I think will be cool. And then she'll also do 2 workshops. She's going to do one that's aimed at a child's activity, and she's going to do another at Thunder Rocks. Prior to that Friday night show of Penn-Dixie, we'll have ACNC Kim Turner, who is their animal care person, will be bringing their new birds of prey and some other things for a pre-big tent show at 6 o'clock on Friday night. So that's something new for us that we added. So there'll be a 6 o'clock pre-tent big tent show, and then the 8:30 big tent show. That'll be Penn-Dixie. Saturday night will be Di Calvino. Dee will be representing the Deer Haven Park, and she'll be talking about the white deer of the Seneca Army Depot, which is in Romulus, New York, in Finger Lakes area. And that's kind of an interesting site. So we've got Penn-Dixie as an interesting site, and someone coming to talk about those things. And then the next night we have another interesting site, is the White Deer Park. She can talk about the white deer herd and the prehistory of the site and the Seneca Army Depot, which is kind of natural history and history kind of combined together, which I think the 2 programs will be quite complementary. She is not going to do any field trips. She's just going to come and do the Saturday evening program. So anybody have any questions on those?
No, she's only charging like $300 a night, or for $300 for a presentation, right?
Yeah. She had not done formal presentations before, and she said that would work for her.
Okay.
She will need, and I had emailed you, she'll need hotel for Saturday night, just Saturday night. So I think we've got some cool programs, and they're fairly economical, both of them. So those are the big tent shows. In terms of field trips, at this point, we're ready to launch, to ask for field trip chairmen or field trip leaders to put their presentations in and let us know what's going on. So, at this point, I don't really have a whole lot to say about that. I've got some additional people that we'll be reaching out to do field trips. And I also I'm looking at, because we've rented the tents, because we have 2 small tents. Is that correct, Lon? We have 3. We do 3 small tents.
Yeah, we have 3 small tents, the classroom, which is next to the registration area, and then the lecture hall, whatever they call it, recreation hall across. which is
Okay.
actually
One
2.
of- Okay, yeah, one of the things that we've, I think at least last year for myself, we had not really maximized the ability to use those seated presentation things. So I'm also kind of looking to recruit for more use of those particular seated presentations that people seem to enjoy having the opportunity not to have to walk and have something done. So I've reached out to some folks who have some interesting skills and programs that might not do a field trip, but might sit in the seated. So like to see a little bit more seated things. We'll hoping, that we'll get some of the folks who did not return last year, who were field trip leaders, so we can beef it up. I think we all realized in some cases that there were except really large groups at field trips because we didn't have enough field trip leaders. Hopefully we'll draw some more people back and we'll be able to have some more choices.
And I would,
yeah, go ahead, Lon.
yeah, and I would just say I'd encourage everybody to, once the online registration opens up, I encourage everybody, if you know anybody that might be interested in leading, I know Marcia's given me a couple names, and we just want to reach out to them, make sure you share them with Ro as we recruit folks. I think that'd be great. So I think, and there's never, we never have enough. You can never have too many bird walk leaders or general nature leaders, et cetera. So.
Yeah, and I think in terms of a lot of the natural history kind of things, just the plain topics of, birds and trees and flowers and moss and fungus, I think we could probably use more of those folks. We had a lot of real interesting trips listed last year, but I think we also need some of those base kind of things. So if anybody has anybody, just pass their name along to me and I'll add them to the list and put it out. One of the things I am going to do, just because I'm kind of I have a friend who always says, oh, I'm a Luddite as far as the computer goes. I am also, I'm going to move the deadline up to mid-April for submission of field trips. So hopefully, if anybody's in contact with our long-standing field trip leaders and such, I'm hoping that people will get things in early so that I can work with it and work with the schedule earlier, and not do it at the last minute. I know that Rob Reeves is great about doing the all-nighters. I'm not a good all-nighter, so I like a little lead time.
Marcia is waving her hand, but you probably can't see her, Ro. Marcia?
Absolutely, yeah, she's got to speak up, yeah, because I can't see the hand, Marcia, sorry.
No, I was just to the chair, but anyway, just to save Rose time and also make it a little easier for our committee people, and I don't want to waste Rose time asking her, for instance, to grab, put a note out to Marcus Ross, and if she's already gotten it on her list, that kind of thing. Ro, would it be possible?
I do a lot of, I do a lot of individual things once things come up. And I talked to Marcus a little bit earlier this year. I was at a workshop at Rhinestein and he was working, and I chatted with Marcus.
No, that was just an example. I'm just saying, if you could just write the names of the people as we go for our committee to send us a list of the names that you have secured so far, then we can bring you different names. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to keep duplicating constantly for your time, but I would like to.
Yeah, for me, that's just send an email and say you thought of somebody. One of the things that I'd like to do, and I was going to talk to Rob about that, is that as we get things submitted, I'd like to submit to him each week so that he can add those to the website, so that people can see as we're building with people who have agreed to do walks, so that it'll build up, and as people, and then also as people not submitted their proposals for a field trip, they'll actually be able to see what's already on the website.
But it seems like not everyone is aware that we have not, even solicited program proposals, and they're not currently accepting program proposals because the program proposal form has not been published. And so Rose just sent me the edits that she wanted about a week ago. So I hope to work on it this weekend. I hope to finish it this weekend. And then at
Okay,
some
good.
point after
I
that, Rose is gonna start her work.
Yeah, because I figured that after this meeting, we'd opened everything up and then, we would be off and running. Is that okay with you, Rob? If I do, if we look at adding things kind of weekly as proposals come in and get accepted?
I mean, weekly is probably too much for me to handle. I would say maybe every other week, every 2 weeks.
That's fine.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. I can send it to you and you can put, I can.
Well, so you don't really
we
need to
can
send
coordinate.
it to me. You just need to tell me
You
whether
already
it's
got it, yeah.
approved or
Whether
not,
it's been
right?
accepted.
And if you're
Yeah,
going to make
yeah.
any edits to the descriptions, but if you're not, then I don't need, I can get it myself.
Yeah, and last year I did a lot of edits with people because we had people who were, when they were doing the remote places, there were a lot of edits is putting in what was the numbers and things. So I got to say there was a lot of edits, but I can send you stuff and then you can.
But
put
that
it on
doesn't need to be on the
for you.
website. So, if the
No.
thing that you're working on is the meetup location, we don't need that until May.
No, you just needed the description, the bio.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, Rowan and Rob, yeah, if you just, you can hook up or contact each other regarding the details of that.
We can work that out after the meeting.
Cool.
And that's what I figure we can do once the
Well,
link goes out to everybody.
One thing I want to bring up, and this is kind of a touchy situation, is that I mentioned Steve Daniel before. We capped last year, and I'm not sure that we published it and publicized it, and we need to, is that Steve does walks with Wayne Gall, and we split those. But we figure it's $50 per hour and 15-minute segment. Well, Steve does multiple all day long things and this, that, and the other. And we thought for one walk that we would, I guess we capped it at 205, the equivalent of 5 walks, $250. I guess the question is, does anybody have any strong feelings about capping? Or, if someone leads, let's say Steve Daniel does an all-day hike, 6 hours, which let's say it's 5 segments or 4 segments, and has 4 people all day, how do we deal with that? And I know that it's difficult to split hairs or go around counting everybody that's on walks, et cetera. But does anybody have any strong feelings about capping leaders' total pay, or should we just say you lead 10 segments and you get $500?
Okay, before anybody else weighs in, let me refer to which you and Rob have what I wrote to put on the website. And what I did, and this is for the benefit of everybody else on the committee who is listening, is setting the schedule that we have 2 walks in the morning, 2 field trips in the morning, 2 field trips in the afternoon. Each of those 2 are 1 hour and 15 minutes. And then there's the option for a double session, which would then be 2.5 hours. And that's the choices there. So trying to codify it, Steve Daniel, just hold that off to the side that Steve Daniel is a bit of an exception.
He is, yeah.
So that's what I've got. Yeah, that's what I've got for everybody who's out there, who are the other 89 leaders that we have, who are not Steve Daniel.
Okay. Yeah, let's.
So that we can have some kind of control over what's happening.
I agreed. You know what? Yeah, and actually, to bring up the one exception is probably not really good use of our time. I think Ro, you and I can work through that.
Yeah, what I'm hoping to do, and I'll just backtrack on that, is that for the benefit of every other leader, every new leader, every former leader, is that we have a format, and this is what we'll try to stick with in those that you can have a double session or half session. We pay $50 for an hour and a 15-minute field trip, that they can do the same field trip twice. They can do it 3 times, 4 times, whatever. You know, that's something that I'll work with when they put that in. That for that field trip, they get their $50 as a leader. And if a leader uses a co-leader or assistants, we do not pay any additional money. Now, once again, Steve Daniels is an exception, and Lon, you and I can figure out how to make things better with Steve, so that we've got everything that's kind of equal for everybody, and the time frames are equal, so that our 700 participants have something to work with, that they know what it is. Having said that, if somebody has that 5-hour walk, whatever, we can put that in the description, and people can make that decision when they get there. But I'm trying to get away from the exceptions and have people kind of fall into that.
Yep.
That sort
I
of
agree.
groove of the actual cut.
Right.
So, you know, now having said that, now everyone else can have the discussion on what they think about.
No, I think what you proposed, and again, as I said, one of the things I really want to do is chairman here is to delegate to the various directors, the committee chairs, the subcommittee chairs, and empower you with the decisions. You're the one that has to live with the outcome and et cetera. So I think as long as it's within reason and we don't have a lot of revolt, I think that's exactly what I want to see. So I think your ideas are great. If anybody has any major objection, I would suggest you join that committee. So
I would just say that
just send me a nasty email. Go right ahead.
I would just say that it's more of a long-term goal, but I don't think we should be paying leaders at all. I think most of them would be more than happy to do it for free, and that's what we should do.
Noted.
Yeah, but once
Noted,
they start
Rob.
paying, they can never go back, Rob. Yeah, love it, but they'll never go back.
I mean, our financial model supports this. So it's an interesting thought, but yeah. Okay, duly noted. All right. I'm going to go to registration and then wrap up with hospitality. Registration. I don't know, Marcia, you want to give us, I think the big question here is if we're going to raise prices, and I think we've had some internal discussions and the entire committee's been copied on some of our costs. Your thoughts on registration fees, Marcia?
I do not want to change them from last year. I think they should remain the same.
I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah, if that's the way you feel and it looks like good, let's go with it.
Yeah, Peter, I mean, we've had some side discussions. I tried to send out to everybody kind of expected additional costs. I think based upon the fact that we had a little bit extra money last year, I don't see any reason that would justify a price increase at this point.
Did Janet have something to say?
She was giving
Get
thumbs up.
I think we're getting thumbs up.
Oh,
That was
okay.
agreed.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you were going to say something.
You thought she pulled out a plum.
I didn't see the thumb.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing I have to do is send out very quickly before registration goes out. I want to, and Rob Reeves, this involves you too. I want to send to the folks who helped us last year, and I have a list of those people, and I want to send them the link to a one free adult registration for their help. So Rob, I just need you to, are we using the same link, or can you send me the link, please, for those freebies?
Is it the
I
same
haven't had a chance
question?
to, I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I would imagine it would be the same link, but I can confirm that.
Yeah, just let me know.
Yeah.
That's okay. And also, Lon, when's the hotel link going up?
they're not so much links, they're phone numbers. Last year we had a link to White Pine Lodge, but they're just going to be phone numbers and the pricing. So I'll share that with everybody. Again, we negotiated with White Pine Lodge and the casino. Casino all in, I think is 125, and I believe White Pine Lodge is 105. When I say all in, that includes any of their fees as well as taxes, et cetera. So they just have to, and I'll provide the description, but we don't have a link. Last year we had a link to White Pine Lodge. We don't, so they'll have to place a phone call to both.
Okay, because I want,
What's that?
Oh, go ahead, Marcia, and then I have a question for Lon.
well, I just wanted to put out that thing to all our contacts about registration being open, and that you can, here's the link for lodging, and here's the link to call hotels, and kind of make it all inclusive so that we can get it out to everybody.
Okay, I'll get all that out to you. Maybe
Whenever we can.
well, yeah,
talk
I think we should, let's target maybe opening registration Sunday. Is that, I'm looking at Rob. I mean, I'm not sure what we need. We have the pricing. We'd have the links. You want to get that information. And I'm saying that because part of his
Barbecue numbers.
yeah, and we also have the barbecue numbers too, which we'll talk about in a second. I think that's the only outlying thing at this point. But we could open up registration Sunday. I can get the phone numbers to you, and I'm being a little selfish here. I'm going out of town at 7:30 tomorrow morning and won't return till Friday night. So I'll see if I can send the contact information out to you tonight.
And what about I'm assuming, and I'm thinking we're not going to send out flyers to people now.
I don't think so. We didn't last year.
Right.
We didn't, and we put on a thing that said, Lisa, are you saying something?
Oh, I'm listening.
Okay. We sent out a thing that just said, if you don't have computer access, call me on the phone, or, have someone write to me and I'll send you a hard copy of the registration, which I did have a few requests, but not a lot.
And we'll send out the notices. This gets down to kind of marketing updates and suggestions, et cetera. We'll make sure we reach out to all the individual sponsoring organizations, let them know. We'll beef up Facebook and make the we'll put advertisements in there, et cetera, with links to Reserve America for camping and cabins, as well as information about the hotels. So
the other thing I want to say is thank you to everybody on the committee who helped me at the registration desk. I really value your help, and you're also welcoming to everybody who comes. So hopefully you're going to be there with me again this year. And I know Tom's wife, Beth, has said she would be there to help me out. I was chatting with her at a Birds and Brews thing. So I think we'll have a lot of good people at the desk to receive people and give good instructions.
yeah, so
And I wouldn't get too excited about opening registration by Sunday. That's I'll do my best, but
okay, well then I know you got a lot of things, Rob. So yeah, let us know. I mean, yeah, we'll do your best.
Well,
but
why don't
get it.
we'll get everything to you, Rob, and you can get it on whenever.
Yeah, and
whenever
then
you can.
yeah, if you just let us know when you're ready, Rob.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's the best.
Yeah, I know.
I hope to do this Saturday.
I saw your Facebook post. I saw that, Rob. So we appreciate your help, and whenever you can get to it. So,
I had one other thing, but I don't think it's registration. I don't know if it goes in with hospitality or if it goes in as a leader, but Nan Hoffman is singing again. And she called me and she's back, wants to be back and join us. So that was really good news. And she's feeling good. And I think Jack and Marge heard her sing at Christmas time. And so she wants to come with her buddy Joe which is great because they do some popular songs mixed in with others. So that was good news.
Good. And you'd indicated, Marcia, when I followed up with you this afternoon, the price would still be the same as previous years.
Always. Yeah, she never changes it.
Good. Great. All right. Just as I said, I just want to kind of make sure I have my ideas or everything wrapped around budget and costs and things like that. Okay. All right. Hospitality. I think the key things there is I think we're all set with the barbecue vendor. The Kiwanis hot dogs, the row has helped in conjunction with Lisa on that. We've nailed down we have an agreement from Zoe with the cook and the costs for the dormitory food. I think the one outstanding question, and I'm not going to make it so much of a question as a decision, I'm going to put it on Lisa as to how we want to approach the barbecue costs. Lisa, you're kind of breaking up a bit. I don't know if you're on voice over IP or whatever, but I'd like you to kind of take the lead on your recommendation for the barbecue costs.
Okay. Hear me?
Yes, kind of.
Sort of.
$13 for that barbecue meal.
It again?
Lisa, because you're having trouble for us hearing you, can you maybe type the numbers into the chat so Lon can then?
Yeah, I think what it is it's. I have a pretty good idea. Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were thinking about keeping the fee at the fee that they're charging 3 C's is $13 for the chicken, including the sides, or the stuffed portobello. And then the question is what about the cookie and the soda?
Right.
What's your recommendation there, Lisa? Are there?
She's sending stuff on.
Maybe you
She
could-
said it was
Oh,
$13.
she's texting me. The availability for an extra cost will be a cookie or a pop. She's saying $13. We just need to notify folks that there's going to be an additional fee and that they need to bring cash. Rob had talked about making sure we provide that in the website, and I think Marcia, yes, okay. So in other words, it's $13 for the food. We'll take the $13 as the barbecue cost. And if they want a cookie or a soda, make sure they bring cash. We'll make sure we communicate that heavily in both Facebook, the website, and during the registration process.
And it has to be the actual cost of what the dessert and soda will
Right.
be.
And I think it's, I don't have it right in front of me, but I think it was $2 for a soda and $1.50 for the cookie. That's just off the top of my head. But again, I think the key thing, yes, it's $1.50 and $2. I got it right. My memory's not going that bad. Again, that people just I just want to make sure that Lisa's going to be responsible for making sure that that process does not hold up the line. And she wrote that its pop is $2. I said soda was $2. So I don't know if that's the same thing. Since I've moved from
It
upstate.
depends on whether you're east or west of Syracuse. It's pop
Well,
out here.
Yeah, well, it was from when I moved from Rochester to the Philadelphia area. I had to now call it soda. So
I grew up in Buffalo and I've always said soda. I've never said pop.
Well, we
Yeah.
learned
And
pop,
nobody knew
too.
what you wanted to drink.
well, you were wrong. You should have been excommunicated, Laura. You're wrong. It's pop.
I also said creek and not crick. So I'm not really sure where I came from, but that's what my parents said.
And Lisa just said, and I think she's a glutton for punishment. She says, we can still have coffee in the building. Yes, Lisa, that's your decision. And I think we're going to proceed with coffee. So. she's texting me these things and she hasn't used any foul language when I mentioned coffee. So,
Yay.
and Andy, last year, thank you very much. Those of you that stepped up and helped out last year. Again, we have a number of jobs that, like hauling trash. It was brought up by Roe that the park does single stream recycling. So we will try to have a separate bucket for single stream recycling. Then we'll just throw it in the trash. No, I'm just kidding. So
They will.
I think that's pretty much it. Does anybody else have, I'm sure I missed something.
No, you're good. You said.
The
Mark,
logos.
about that.
What?
Oh, next meeting.
Oh, Lon, before you go on to the next meeting, I have one thing that I want to throw out there. We did ask people if they wanted to volunteer to help at the pilgrimage on our surveys. We had a number of people who said yes, they would consider they would help with things. Marcia and I had some interchange on the internet about, how to deal with those people. What do we want to do? We have people who have said they will volunteer to help. Who will be in charge of them? Who will reach out to them to see what they can do, and will we have actually jobs for them?
I'll tell you what, I don't mind reaching out to them. I've got them summarized already. What I would like is if people could send to me jobs that they think that would need assistance. Hauling trash is an easy one. Directing traffic, maybe. General, let me know what your thoughts are on how people can help. I mean, it's not that I want to turn down folks to help, but we have a group of strong folks here. I see Janet's looking over at Alan there. They may have some input on how people can help. They really jumped in and helped a lot last year. So I would say if you have some suggestions on things that I may not have seen, but you all helped out with, setting up lights, for example, helping set up the screen and the AV equipment. I'm always looking for anybody that may want to jump in and help with Facebook promotion. So I'll try to summarize, but if you would send to me those things that you think that people could help out with, I don't mind reaching out and soliciting assistance. So
I will not have help from the general public at registration. I know I've said this before, but I have to know the people who are going to be there because we're handling money.
That makes sense. Right. It should be the people that help you, Marcia, should be the folks that are on the committee, and that's it, only because there's financial transactions involved.
And I just wanted to put into the mix, Alan's got a cold and he's back there on the couch. So I'm kind of his spokesperson. One thing he talked to me about before this meeting, the fellow who stepped down from the committee, Rob Thompson. He was the one that put the signs up for the various walks and so forth. And Alan helped a little bit last year with that. And
he did.
Telling it right. He said he'd be interested in doing that this year.
Try to help with that.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah. And again, this is a thing you reach out.
Janet, I'd be interested in having you and Alan helping out in some of those aspects of the putting out the signs and managing the signs and that sort of thing. So that would be great. Thank you.
That's Alan's offer. Yes.
Yeah, the two areas.
Okay, Alan, we'll cut you out of it.
Yes, I've done other projects. Yes.
The couple of the key areas that I see people being involved with are hospitality, and that includes hauling trash and everything else like that, and reaching out to Lisa, or if Lisa has any comments,
tickets.
or certainly Roe was setting up signs and people on the committee, et cetera. Again, we're gonna default to the bright green obnoxious caps this year. I think that worked good for helping out.
Those were bad.
We're using hats, Laura, not the armbands. I found some more pictures that we can add to the history, including a picture of John Buffington with an armband on. I got to send it to his daughter. So Yeah, so please send me any thoughts on your, that I can solicit help with. And just no job is too small, so.
And Marcia, I'd be glad to help you with registration again.
Yay, thanks.
And I will be the toilet paper queen, unless somebody else wants to do that. That's a very important job under hospitality.
Right, and also we just want to elaborate a little bit more on some of the jobs. Like last year, I put the lights up in the porta potties and switched them on and turned them off. I mean, very, very menial kind of job, but someone needs to remember to go flip the lights. So, and I'll make sure those are detailed, those kinds of things. And then Andy, when we get a little bit closer, we're also going to put up, try to put up some notices throughout the park as well. So that'll be between after the next meeting. We talk a little bit more detail about that. So speaking of next meeting, any other?
Oh, wait, Lon,
Yes.
hold off. I had emailed about parking restrictions at the registration building. Did you want to talk about that, or did you want to wait for another occasion on that?
I'm going to bring it up, and what I'll do is have people send me I'll tell you what, some thoughts. Rohit suggested that we block off the road to the registration building, that it would be limited to handicapped and people staying in the dorm out of a safety and a dust perspective.
And a committee people who are doing things.
Right. Let me know your thoughts. I mean, forever we've kept that road open. Last year it became very dusty. I think that's the first time we've ever had an Allegheny with no rain all weekend. I think what we want to do is avoid people using the parking in front of the registration building as a parking area for their walks and talks. And so give me some thoughts on there. One of the thoughts I had was not that we can enforce it, but put up a sign that says 15-minute parking or something like that. So if people are coming in to register or have a question, as opposed to the other area. And again, the parking area on the meadow with the field is not ideal parking either, but it's what we have. So,
But it's weather dependent.
it is. And when it's muddy, when that's rainy and muddy, people getting out of the meadow is a pain too. So
the only thing I could say, and I could be wrong, very wrong on this, but I think because of emergency services perspective, being a public event of that size, I don't think that's something that we can't put a barricade up.
No, we wouldn't put a barricade up. We would just have signs that say limited to handicap, dorms, and committee.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I don't know if you want to have dorms as a major thing for the whole general population. They're going to say, what,
Well,
dorms? Can I stay in a dorm?
Leaders and
Well, the
committee.
dorm people will have plenty of parking once they come in and they park. They're outside of the registration building.
Right. And we could say leaders or something to that effect. We can refine the language, but I'll tell you what, send me an email if you have an opinion either way on this, or send it to Ro and I, or copy the entire committee. If you have a strong opinion, I'm kind of at my personal opinion, and IMO here, is that that it's difficult to enforce, but I'm not strongly objected to that. I think, trying to keep people parked in the meadow is good. I don't like the fact is when you got people coming in and parking in front of the registration building and then going away for a 2-hour walk. I don't like that either. So, so for someone to pop in and has a question, or, you're also going to get people to pop in and want their morning coffee and leave. So give it some thoughts. And we can make that decision by the next meeting. Next meeting, April.
April is generally at the park.
Yeah, and
You can do this week, that's it.
yeah, generally we do it mid to late April. If I will probably not be at that meeting. And
You could do Zoom.
I mean, I can participate the first week of April. Let's see, Easter is the 9th, or at least not the Eastern Orthodox of Easter. It's when is Easter for you, Lisa?
16th.
16th. Never mind. I got that here. I will be, I'll be in Utah for a month.
Well, I'm hoping we can avoid Earth Day this year, the 22nd. Because most of us are involved in many, many things on Earth Day. So unless there's no other option, I would hope that we don't do it on Earth
Well,
Day.
and I'll talk to Tim as well. I mean, the reason that we've had it at the park in the past is to have a face-to-face with Tim.
Oh,
Again,
no, it's good. I'm just saying the date. That's all.
well, I'm not saying that it's mandatory to go there and have a face-to-face with Tim. Tim's easily can participate via Zoom and he works on weekends, so that's not a major problem. It's also to check out the park, but we have people that can check out the park. Janet and Alan, Roe, you're right there. I'm not sure that it's really necessary to meet in person. I'm open either way, but the folks from Rochester, I mean, you've got 6 hours of driving to participate, and is that necessary? So
I think we Zoomed it last year.
you did.
Rochester people. I did.
You did.
Yeah, all the way from Rochester, Frank.
Right.
I mean, again, it's a 6 hours of driving that day to say that you went to the park and met with Tim. So I don't think there's any reason we couldn't go to the park, but I won't be at the park. Andy, you're by the park somewhat.
Yeah, I'm here. If anything needs to be done, I think it's good. Yeah, I'm kind of from both ways. I see your point. I think it's kind of been good in the past just to meet there and get together, see everyone face to face before the event. But at the same time, I'm kind of neutral.
And we can certainly have delegates there on a weekend. Again, it's not going to be the weekend of the 22nd.
And that next week, the last weekend of April, I'm out totally. I have other commitments.
Okay.
Well, can't we just, if you wanted to have an April meeting, have a Zoom meeting, but then pick a date where a couple of us can meet with Tim, and just, be delegates to check it
Yeah,
out.
generally the meeting with Tim now is pretty much cut and dry. I mean, have we filled out the forms? Do we have the insurance? Let's share it with this. Are there any obstacles or any things that has newly arisen as far as, we always ask for the road to be closed, and we've got a series of checklists that we go through with Tim. It's pretty straightforward. I'd also need to find out what his availability is. I need to find out his availability in April. Maybe that dictates when we get together. But Laura, I like your idea. Maybe we have a regular Zoom meeting, and then follow up with a couple of representatives with Tim directly, if necessary, in the park.
And if
It's a good idea.
if he's okay with not meeting personally with, all of us,
Right.
there's no reason why we'd say, well, we'd still like a couple people come down and just say hi. Maybe, I would go down, and because I don't know him.
Well, Andy and Roe and Alan and Janet are all within striking distance.
Yeah,
So,
so am I.
yeah.
Hey, that's fine.
I think it's important, though, to meet and to define what jobs we are going to do, so they're aware of it, and also for us to ask the park, what do you need from us, but also what are we going to get from you? I think it's good to put definition on both ways, and I think just for PR reasons, as Laura was mentioning, I think it's good that somebody meets in person with them. I think it's.
I agree. I think Tim, and we can meet in Tim's office there too. I mean, well, let me reach out to Tim, find out his availability, find out his I get a feel for him as well. I know he's always made it a point to come over and meet with us for an hour, or 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it takes from his time. Just to dot the i's, cross the t's, make sure that there's any outstanding issues with the park that we can address. So let me talk to him. Let's not come up with a specific date at this point. I would say, are there days that don't work? We've heard the 22nd.
Is that when Earth Day is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to do that either.
And quick question, would you remind me of what Tim's title and role is? What is he?
He's manager of Red House.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Is that correct, Andy?
Yes, that's correct. Red House Park Manager.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, yeah, I'll give him a call because I want to follow up on the permits with him as well. So we know the 22nd doesn't work. How about the 8th or the 15th? Now, the 8th is the day before Easter. 15th is normally IRS taxes are due.
Okay.
Let's go, let's have a meeting. Let's talk about the pilgrimage.
Yeah.
I don't need to sit home on text day.
We could also say May 6th. That's National Nurse, was it? National
Well,
Nurse.
there's,
National Nurses Day.
there's the 29th also.
Yeah, May 6th is also I Love My Park Day.
Oh.
Oh, he'd be busy with that.
He's going to be busy that day. Let me find out let me get some dates from Tim. Let me reach out to everybody and we'll firm up a date. I think, if we can send a contingent down there, that's fine. But maybe we also want to have, conduct a lot of, the most of the business that's conducted during that meeting is not with Tim.
Right.
So, the last time we did have folks dial in from Zoom, it was really, we got Tim in there. He was there 20 minutes, half an hour. We did all our pleasantries, dots the I, cross the T's, permits, blah, blah, blah. And then we excused him. And then we got in with our regular business, which, just got down to the details of what was going on. So let me talk about Tim about his availability. As I said, we can send a contingent down there. It might even make sense to have our meeting before that and then send the contingency down there to meet with him.
And I think early April, there's a lot of information that would be available that we could have in a Zoom meeting because a lot of the stuff, would be circulating around at that point. And then whoever the contingents would be, I'm making an assumption that I would go, that we could give that information to Tim, have an exchange of where we are, where we need to be, where they want us to be. So, yeah.
Could we, how about, let's just tentatively say a Zoom meeting on the 12th. Now I'm not sure that I'll be in attendance, but you guys can do this without me.
Was that
I'll be
April?
on the road.
You'll be on the road too?
Coming
Okay.
home, yeah.
Was April or May?
I was thinking April. What about April? When is your, Marcia, you're on the way back home then?
Yeah,
When do you get back or when do you leave?
I don't know. After Easter's over, we never have a set time. We just leave when we're going to.
Oh, free spirit you.
We have to be back, by the week of the 17th, because we have some appointments.
Okay. How about the 19th?
For me, I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, for maybe a Zoom meeting with the 19th, and I'll find out with Tim's availability. Really with Tim, we could meet as late as, I know he works weekends, but Ro, you said
Sunday.
the 6th is I Love My Park Day or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much that involves Tim, but that does involve other people.
Oh, Andy, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be.
And I wouldn't be available that day because I'll be doing something somewhere in a park.
Right.
Depending on the people who are going to meet with Tim, I can meet during the week. I don't have to have a weekend.
True.
I'm sure there are others too that could meet
Okay,
during the week.
I'll tell you what, before we go any
Well, and
further,
once again, realistically, going back to whatever we need to coordinate with Tim is there's folks like myself and Janet and Alan and
Andy,
and
yeah,
Andy who are easily available to Tim within a a short distance ride.
20-minute, half-hour drive at the most.
Yep.
Okay. Let me reach out to Tim before we make that decision, and I'll get back to everybody in the next couple days regarding some suggested days for a meeting and solicit that at that point. Any other questions, concerns?
Are you setting the 19th as a Zoom day, a Zoom meeting for us?
And not,
It's tentative.
yeah, let's tentatively say the 19th if that works.
Yeah, why don't you set something tentatively so people can have it on their calendars?
Okay, we'll shoot for the 19th.
And you're talking evening, right?
Yes, it'd be 7 o'clock at night
Oh, okay, all right.
or 5 o'clock Mountain Time. Let's say tentatively the 19th, 7 p.m. Any other questions, concerns, comments? Feel free to send them to me. If you think of something right afterwards, feel free to contact me. The motion to adjourn?
Hey, whoa.
Oh,
Can I
wait,
just make an announcement that,
Yes.
Ed Siriano's wife, Kelly, who is doing the logos for us, she's feeling much better and she's worked up a few drafts. So we're gonna be seeing those down the road. So she's back on the job.
yay. Thank you, Marcia, for following up on that. It's been kind of a long journey there, but we didn't want it to.
I felt
distract
bad for
anything
her.
else, so, yeah, thank you. So again, welcome Tom and Laura, or re-welcome Laura. And thank you very much for everybody participating. Happy New Year. And I think we're off to a good start. Feel free to reach out to me with anything and have a motion to adjourn.
Yes, you do.
A minute.
A second.
I second. Meet ya.
All right. All in favor of adjourning? Boom.
Hey.
Dave, thank you very much for your participation. Really appreciate it. Off to a
Happy
good
New Year,
start. Great
everybody.
team.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys. All right. Thank you.
Lon, this recording will be
Thank
available.
you.
I've got it all recorded in the cloud. I'll let you know.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.